In this video, I'm going to find Grian's secret base, but before I do, if you could just subscribe, it's free and you can always change your mind later. Finding Grian's secret base is no easy task as he keeps all information on his secret base very secret. This makes sense as it is called a secret base, but he kinda goes a little overboard. I've actually had this video idea for quite a while now, and the first secret base I found, I know what you're thinking, he showed you where it was, so I'd hope you'd be able to find it, but I didn't watch the entire video first and spent an hour of my time finding his first secret base and got crushed when B-dubs found it. I think it's important to go over how I found the first base though, so understand how I used the various clues to find the second base. The first clue I took note of was the white concrete in his build, and this could help me identify a building, but I don't know if you know, keralis used a lot of white concrete in his build. The thing that gave me the location in the world though was the sewer system. You see, when he was digging the sewer system, he dug into a cave, and using the shape of that cave and the ore placement, I was able to actually locate it with the seed. This gave me a location to look at, and so I went to an old keralis video and used the terrain before it was built on to find where the sewer was. Then I counted how many blocks Grian mined to get into the cave, and that gave me a very good idea of where his base was on natural terrain. Then I looked at that video and I was able to find out what building it was in, and as I'm sure you know, it was right by keralis' office. This being said, we can move on to the new base, which I guess is now technically zedaph's base, but I'm still considering it Grian's base because by definition, it's not a big base, and the swap specifically said big base swap, not little base swap, so in my mind, it still kind of belongs to Grian, the mole person. So let's move on from that. Now, when we first get a look at Grian's new secret base, he's very good at concealing any information. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but I mean really good. I examined it and there was no block like a flower that could be exploited or anything, and he even built the sewer entrance before showing it on camera. It's almost like he knew what I was trying to do. And that's not going to stop me though, we still have to try to find it. This gave me very little to go off of, as you can tell, but as the determined individual that I am, I watched not only Grian's impulses, but B-dub's video to hope that they would give me more clues, and there weren't any clues inside the base except its size. That really sucks. The breakthrough, however, I had that made this possible was again in the sewer. You see, Grian covered up most of the caves he dug into with gravel, but if we look at the beginning of the top of the sewer, he had a shape that resembled a cave, but the important part is the diorite that differentiates it from the rest of the caves in the area. So I got back on the world that I searched for the first base in and started searching caves, and let me tell you, this took hours. I then used the last clue and some Minecraft knowledge to narrow down my search, and the last clue was that if you look at the end of the scene where they turn, at the end of the hallway there is one sandstone block in the corner. And this means that it has to be where sandstone would generate naturally. This means it would either have to be in the ocean, the desert, or the edge of the river. Now, that's still a lot of area, but we know one thing, and that's he drops down into the sewers. And so you'd still have to be high enough after he drops down that we would see sandstone. This eliminates the desert, as I believe once he drops down, he would be too low for any sandstone to generate, so that leaves the river or the ocean. And while that's still a lot of area to cover, and I'm not going to lie, I was still having trouble, but I kept looking. I watched keralis' newest video and found that I wasn't searching a possible location, and this is where I think his base is. I think that Grian's base is in the logistics company area, and if you're not familiar with keralis' base, it's that building next to the ship where the forest used to be. Now, I can't say this for sure yet, but I have some solid reasons why. The first is it would put him right in the area that sandstone would generate naturally for the sewer tunnel, and also, it is in an area that could remain hidden for a long time, which is important since keralis was onto them, and the reason that is because it was used for redstone, so he shouldn't be going in there too often. And on top of all of that, Grian's base was pretty big, and he would need a lot of space to hide it, and this would provide him that space. Now, I'm trying to make sure that this is right with X-ray, so if you want to know what I find, subscribe. That's going to be all for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and as always, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.